listening to the Theology of Games podcast, your source for gaming news, reviews, and interviews with the top voices in the industry. Find us online at theologyofgames.com. And now, here are your hosts, Scott Firestone and Jeremiah Isley.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Theology of Games podcast. It's me, Jeremiah Isley, and it's not Scott Firestone once again. Hey, Scott is actually out of town the weekend of recording, so it took two men to fill his shoes this month. Sitting to my right is Mr. AJ Skifstad. Hey, you've been on this show before.
Yeah, I have. It's been fun.
Yeah, so welcome back. You're like two-time veteran. You're a sophomore. I hear there's a jinx that goes along with that.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
I'm not worried about it.
And sitting across from me, recording in GarageBand. That's a long story, but it's Mr. Josh Sepos. How's it going, Postmaster General?
Oh, boy. I'm doing great.
I thought it was.
I hope some of that gets cut.
What?
I said I hope some of that gets cut.
Maybe some of it. Probably
doing good.
Not.
Doing good.
Cool. So we're going to go forward with just another regular, awesome podcast episode of the Theology of Games podcast. We've got all your favorite segments from shows past here for you today, and you just get a little extra because there's three of us instead of two of us. And it'll be fun and interesting. AJ, we kind of introduced you a little bit last episode. And so if people want to know more about you, they can go listen to that one. But Sepos, tell us a little bit about just some of the games that you're into and why you might end up on a podcast of this type.
So some of the games that I'm into, man, that's really hard. I feel I'm sitting here as we record in my studio. I feel like there's such a wide array of things like Star Wars, the card game, a ton of X-Wing that I don't know why I own, but still love it. Ascension, Relic Expedition, all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm really into a lot of different things. I feel like I buy games, or I'm starting to buy games like I buy books. I look at all my books and I think I've not read 90% of those. And as my game collection grows, I feel...
But there they sit on your shelf.
Right. And
I
feel like
sad.
My games are getting to a point where it's like, I've never played a House Divided, and I've owned it or Artificium, and I've owned it for how long? But so yeah, I still love games. I love gaming. I especially love gaming with you guys in different groups and hanging out. So maybe that answers the question of why I'm here.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, and you've been to Origins with AJ and myself.
Probably 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
now.
I mean, multiple times. You were just on the That's How I Roll Origins podcast, this ridiculously long for that show episode. So yeah, AJ and Sepos are pretty much like my main gamer friends. If I'm gaming, it's typically one of them along with me, and there's some outliers, but this is kind of like my inner circle of gaming friend group.
It's your gaming squad.
Yeah, right. Squad goals, right?
The OG gaming group.
If you want to say that. So yeah, that's what kind of brought me to the conclusion, like, hey, I need some people to do the podcast with me. And I said, hey, AJ and Sepos have been on other podcasts before, and they're my gamer dudes. So here we are. So we're going to jump in and talk about a little bit about some news in the gaming industry. If you're listening to this podcast, it means that you're probably into gaming, so you haven't been living under a rock, and you know that the Spiel des Jahres, say that as fancy as you want, went to King Domino.
King Domino.
Yeah, Blue Orange Games. Congratulations to them. They pulled it off. They got a winner. What are your guys' thoughts on King Domino pulling that win out of the hat?
I think it's really cool. They've really hit the niche that Spiel des Jahres is looking for these days. back in like 2012, I think, or even before that, you had games like Kingdom Builder winning, which were more strategic. But it seems like Spiel des Jahres has started to go to more of like a family type of game where anybody can enter in, but gamers are still going to feel like there's a strategic element. And I really just got to say hats off to Blue Orange, because they put out a lot of really, really good family-based games and some kids games. But with King Domino, they really struck gold by getting the gamer involved and saying, hey, here's a little bit of strategy. Want to play?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's that award is getting more mainstream. That's hitting, like AJ's saying, you know, it's hitting on a wider range of people versus what it historically had. I think it shows too, you know, if you look back at the Spiel Awards, there's a lot that if you look up the game or what won that year, you're like, oh, that you have no idea what the game is and you have to go search and research about it. I think King Domino will be something that will be around for a while too, which is really good. Super replayable. I know AJ and we've played it several times with our better halves. And we've always really enjoyed it. I know I wish I would have been able to pick it up at Origins. I'm probably going to buy it here pretty soon. I just think it's a great game with good lasting power too.
Yeah, I think Amazon has ample supply at this point again, if I looked again. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the word that I keep coming back to is accessible. They're looking for games that are super accessible, but also there's a good level of depth to them. So King Domino, we played it with my boys. Like we had
a blast.
Easy for them to learn. They really loved it. But as a gamer, I wasn't like, I'm playing Operation or Candy, you know, it's super deep, but your kids can play it too.
I think a test of a really good game too is being able to play with different groups and having different experiences. So I'm sure how you played it with your kids is something different than if the three of us were to sit down and play it or include another gamer to make four with us. We would probably be a little bit more cutthroat. We would probably be a little bit more strategically minded while we're playing it versus just the fun family sit down, which I think is great for a game that you can play with a bunch of different people, have different experiences, and really enjoy it.
Right. There's a little bit of versatility there.
Right.
On a side note, Ice Cool won Kinderspiel.
Yes.
Now, is that also Blue Orange? Or is that somebody else?
No. I know who that is, and I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Well, then we'll just edit that portion out.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
It's
not Blue Orange, though.
But so, Spiel des Jahres is Game of the Year. Kinderspiel is Kids Game of the Year. And then Kennerspiel would be like Knowledge Game of the Year or Strategy Game of the Year.
Right, something that's actually a little heavier, a little deeper. And this year, that award went to Exit. It was a specific one of the Exit ones.
The Secret Lab. It was the Secret Lab.
Which is that Cosmos and Thames? Is that?
It's Cosmos, yeah.
So that's an interesting genre of game that has popped up. And it's kind of been the board game response to the exit rooms that you see like on Groupon and Living Social. Yeah. There's all these places that are popping up and they have these escape rooms where it's this full out experience. And you go and you have to get out of this room within an hour or whatever. And there's all these puzzles you have to solve. It turns out that the board game industry has been just churning these things out recently. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
So something I think that's really cool about the exit games, and I was kind of reading some information online, some articles on Board Game Geek, Reddit, things like that. It's kind of opened up a really different category for board games in replayability because there is no replayability. You do your exit, and
you know how to solve it.
Maybe
so
5 years from now,
right? But what's really cool about that, and what a lot of people are doing, and I think it's great that this game won this award because it's kind of opening up a different mindset with games. You know, I look at all the games on my shelf, and there might be some that I'll get sick and tired of, and I'll be like, "Here, do you want this?" Or I'll trade it on Board Game Geek, or I'll sell it. But a lot of people, they'll buy these exit games, they'll play it, box it back up, take it to work, take it to family, take it to church, take it to work, you know, whatever social event, and say, you guys should play this. It was great. And just hand it off because they're not going to be able to play it again. So it's like this, what is that, like Amish bread where like you split it off and you like give it to someone that just keeps going
it's
forever?
A little start and you share it with 3 people and they share it with 3 people.
But what a cool way to get people involved in the game in the gaming community too, because those games are fun. They bring a lot of intrigue. They're just exciting to play and to try.
So I agree with the overall idea of the game being fantastic. It's good to invite people to play that game. And I actually played the Abandoned Cabin. It was fantastic. We had a ton of fun playing it. But the question is does it really fit the Kennerspiel award? And I just don't think it does. I want a game that's going to have replayability, that when I go back and play it a second time, I have to revise the way that I play it so that I can beat the person I lost to the last time, or the other person has to revise the way they play it so they can beat me. And I want that complexity in that ever-changing game. And I feel like a one and done. I mean, what's to say that Unlock shouldn't have won this instead, or the Exit Room game that you can buy at Target shouldn't have won this instead?
Right.
You know? I think it's fantastic. I love the Exit Room games, but I don't know about Kennerspiel.
Do you think they're trying to give a nod to the category of games more than anything else? Like you see in the Oscars one year, wow, how did that win the Oscars? That wasn't even, but it's just that kind of movie needed to win, at that genre needed to win at some point.
It's definitely a more edgy kind of award. It's something that's more unheard of, and they're trying to break new ground with it maybe. But yeah, I see your point. Like if I'm going to go buy the best game of the year, I want it to be a game that I can enjoy time and time again. Not knocking the game, not knocking any of the Exit games at all, but I kind of feel like it should be something that I'm going to get a lot of replay out of it. That's my personal opinion. Take it or leave it. It's time to talk about what's on the table. This is the segment of the show that has the worst name, and we're actually working on a new revised version of this segment coming soon, but I digress. But for now, it's still on the table, and we're going to chat about just some games that we've played recently. And
who gets to go first?
Oh, I don't know.
Are we rolling a dice?
Do you have a dice?
That's what I was looking for.
We're
Do
gonna
you have a D20 in this house?
Yeah.
You're really going to have to edit this now.
Here we go. Everybody tell their Siri to roll a D20. Hey Siri, roll a D20. I got a 7.
Siri, I see a little silhouette of a man.
No.
Hey Siri, roll a D20.
Siri, roll a D20.
Oh, I win. So, I get to go first, huh?
You get initiative. You what'd you get, a 16?
I got a 16.
All right. AJ got a 9. I got a 7. Thanks a lot. I'm not rolling a D20.
Are we doing this like
my
round robin?
Just blurt them all out, and then we'll say, "Hey, tell us about that one." if we don't know what it is.
So I'll go top 3 right now. I played the Duke the other night with my girlfriend.
Classic. Yeah, that was my game of the year in 2014.
I love that.
She hated it.
I love that game. She did. It was so depressing. Since you opened the can of worms, I specifically borrowed that game from AJ because I want it in my collection so bad, but I really only play with AJ. And so I was like, if Natalie likes this game, I can buy it. I can own it. And she hated it. It was the worst. Oh. So the Duke, Time Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Played that with a group of guys. That was awesome. And I'm super pumped to play it again. Super pumped to play it again. And then just the other night, Star Trek Expeditions made it back to the table.
How'd we do?
We did good. I think we finally played it right the first time. I mean, not that we were playing it wrong. We were just making it a lot harder on ourselves than the rule book wants you to. The sad story about Star Trek Expeditions is I threw away my expansion and didn't really realize it. I thought it was in the box.
Characters.
You actually threw it away?
I threw it away. I thought I had collected it into the bigger box, and I did not. And I realized that after Trash Night came and went. So what are you going to do? So those would be the 3 things I got to the table most recently.
Cool. I just played Power Grid Deluxe the other night. Had a fantastic time with that. It's a great game, and I think a lot of people complained about components in that one, but I love it. I think the components are way better. I would rather have plastic money over paper money any day.
I have yet to play Power Grid.
Oh, such a good game.
Yeah, that's one of those classics that everybody talks about. I actually haven't played it myself, but
now this podcast just lost all credibility.
I know. It's all right. Shut up and sit down. Those dudes, what's his name? Matt hasn't even played like Ticket to Ride. So
Whenever I hear Power Grid, I just think about SimCity 2000 and needing to build a power plant. I don't know why.
Plant,
yeah, that's the one aspect. The other game I played 6-player Jamaica the other night. That was a mess. It was fantastic though. Just people battling each other back and forth, stealing people's
game.
gold.
I'm not a fan of that game, but that's okay.
And then my favorite that I've been playing lately, I played X-Wing, and that was fun. Thanks to Josh, who let me have a copy of the base set. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Look at you.
Yeah, good friends. And then my favorite, though, has been Clank. It's a deck builder where you're delving into a dungeon. You actually got a meeple that is going down into this dungeon, collecting artifacts, and then running back up to try and get out of this dungeon before the dragon hears you too many times making noise. Fantastic game.
Do you collect like dental record archives or?
No, it's artifacts. I got it wrong. So it's a good game. So if you haven't played Clank yet, Renegade Games, give it a shot. You'll really like it if you like deck builders.
All right, so I think Clank actually was on Firestone's top 10 list for last year, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I've played a few games in the last month. I actually have games starting to show up in the mail, so like all the ones that were in the fire, they're in that's the news of the week too, is I get to go catalog every single game that I had. But we actually got together and played Viticulture, AJ and I, and I
was there. Yeah, it was the first time I played.
That's right. It's
the first time I played. That was a great game. I told Natalie about that. I don't know if anybody listened to That's How I Roll when I was on for Origins. A big thing for me lately has been finding games that she wants to play or our family want to play. And she may or may not own a tank top that says, I'm a winosaur. So she likes wine. Like, we both enjoy wine. And I sent her pictures of that game, and she was pumped to play it.
Nice.
Just from the theming.
Viticulture is probably my favorite worker placement game. It is just so well made.
I don't really understand why we turned him down so many times when
I tried for years. I've had that game for since it came out. Like, what is it, 3-4 years now?
Yeah.
I tried the Dickens to get you guys to play it.
You know, I think it was a point. I think there came a point where we were just fed up playing new games, and now we're at the point where all we want to do is play new games. So you have us in the prime of gaming life right now. We can play anything.
It's the 2 months after Origins. We want to play new games, and after that, we're like, okay, we played enough new games. We know the ones that we want to like. Can we play those again, please?
Nope. We got games to review.
I think that, and I think Viticulture, if I'm correct, was very close to the beginning of Stonemeyer's rise to fame because
it was their first game.
Was Euphoria not first?
Nope, Euphoria came out after that.
Okay,
and you guys played that one for some reason.
We did.
I did.
Maybe you didn't.
I don't know.
But you know what's the coolest part about that worker placement game is you don't have to pay for your people at the end of each round or feed them like in Stone Age or something like that.
It costs money to get them into the game, but you don't need to do that upkeep. You're right.
Yeah, I like that. What else have you been playing?
So we played a quick game of Tides of Time that same night before Sepos arrived, which is a fun little 2-player game. And I've played O Captain, which I got in the mail. It was kind of funny because it was like 2 days after our house fire. And I was over there talking and dealing with the mess of all of that. And a package just showed up. And I was like, oh, there's a game in the mail. So that was pretty cool. And although the game, we'll talk about that later. And I gave all of the Star Wars RPG stuff that I have to my friend Alex, who is GMing the game for us. So all of that survived, and it was at his house. So me and the boys went over, and we've been playing some adventures with Alex GMing, and then his son and my boys and myself as the players going through this. And every time we play it, it's so much fun. The boys, I tell them that, hey, we're going to go over and play Star Wars, and they just light up. They have not gotten tired of it at all. They think it's such a blast. So
nerds.
They're total nerds.
It's a new level. AJ, how often does the RPG conversation come up? Once every 6 months?
More
do we
than
want to do
that.
it?
More
we always
than that.
say,
I try and skip that level every year. I try and go right into that open play ring of LARPing at Origins every year. One year I'm going to
not
get
going
in
to be
there
able to do
and
it. There's no
Get your butt
way.
kicked.
Yeah.
Like, what is this guy doing?
I don't know. It's just too far for me for some reason.
I just want to skip that level and just get in there one time.
You guys.
just like you're dressed now, polo jeans, just run in.
I don't care.
no
Just
costume,
give me a
rip
foam axe and
sword
a-
out of some kid's hand and just start beating people.
Just one time.
Just once. It may happen. Probably not. But one of these days I will get you guys to play a role-playing game, and you will forever. Okay, let's just talk about the conversation we just had. How many years did I try to get you guys to play Viticulture? And who was right?
Listen, I would play One Ring in a heartbeat if you had the One Ring RPG. I would play that in a heartbeat. I love Star
Lord
Wars.
of the Rings.
I feel like this is a.
But I love Lord of the Rings more. Go ahead. Sorry, but
Yeah.
No, sorry. I feel like this is a different conversation though, because we're not talking about trying a different game. We're talking about entering into a whole different cultural world. You know,
But that's like the crossover is so paper thin. You're there. You're sitting at a table. You're playing games that are based in a sci-fi or a fantasy realm. You are there. You are family. It's like all you have to do is show up at your cousin's house and say, "Hey, I'm here," and that's it. That's all you got to do.
I just saw the coolest story. It was on Facebook the other day of 3 inmates who were in a prison, and that's like that was their like group. They core
played
group.
D&D every day.
They stayed together. They defended each other in the prison. They said it gets intense in there. And
really?
No, I'm just saying.
It gets intense in there.
I'm just saying you got to have people watching your back. So if you got your D&D group watching your back, you got your wizard, your mage.
I love the line.
Your dwarf.
I love they were talking about there's this, if you're in the system and
The Stranger
like,
Things kids grew up and went to prison.
right?
The Demigorgon.
But they're saying like if there's more than 4 people that hang out and do the same thing all together, that's considered a gang, and there's a hierarchy. And he's like, I was the DM, so that put me at a different level. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This guy's a DM in prison and he's like a gang leader.
I don't want to be a part of a gang.
Right? You can be a part of the gang.
I don't.
All you have to
What's
do.
the initiation?
You already said
Pick
you
a
have
character and begin leveling up.
pick a race and class. That's all you got to do. All right. So anyway, we just derailed that conversation. One of these days, you guys, like I said, I was right about viticulture, and I guarantee you will think I'm right about role-playing games. It's time to play Fire and Ice. I guess it's not really play. We're just gonna
talking.
Just gonna talk
Yeah.
and have, like do this segment. So Fire and Ice doesn't make sense at the moment because Scott Firestone's not on the show, but this was actually a segment that was suggested to us because my last name's Isley, kind of Isley, and Scott Firestone is obviously Firestone. So a listener wrote in and said, hey, why don't you do a Fire and Ice segment? And we said, hey, that's actually a really good idea. So we do. So we talk about a game which is super hot for us and we love and we are very excited about. And then we talk about a game that's gone a little icy cold for us. And I think we should roll for initiative to see who gets to go first again.
Hey Siri, roll a d20. Dang it, mine failed because of you guys.
17.
Hey Siri, roll a d20. Hey Siri,
I got a 10.
roll a d20.
We're waiting on Sepos.
Got a 9.
I got a 17.
I go. All right, AJ goes first. I go second.
All right, so right now on fire is Clank.
Yeah, Clank.
I don't think you should add it in at all. Clank, which I already mentioned, it's a great deck building game. You're adventuring down through a dungeon, collecting gold and all sorts of good stuff, battling minions. Get up to the top before the dragon gets you. Definitely need to check this game out. You're going to love it.
Yeah, nobody wants to get eaten by a dragon, but everybody wants the dragon's gold.
That's right.
Right? All right. Oh, I get to go next because you rolled poorly. See, we're already playing role-playing games.
I feel weird about it.
You shouldn't feel weird. So,
I need an adult.
My fire game, I actually had a hard time. So one of the games is a game that I really, really want to play, and I just got it, is Wordsy.
So good.
So good. I know you have it. We saw it at Origins. Fantastic game. And the other one is King Domino.
King Domino.
If there's... I was late on that one, sorry.
A little bit.
If there's a game that I really want to play again out of my collection that is like popping out at me constantly, that it's in a box somewhere in a warehouse. It's King Domino. My kids liked it. I haven't had a chance to play with my wife, but I'm sure she will like it. And really looking forward to playing it again. So, Sepos, what about you?
Fire.
What game is on fire?
Man, Time Stories. I just want to play that again so bad. It's another game that we were talking about on the phone, Natalie and I, and she was super into it. She likes spooky things and stuff like that. She really wants to try it out too, but whether it's with her, don't tell her, whether it's with her or not, I want to play that again soon. That game is so fun, so good, and it really did feel like mysterious. And next time we play, I want to turn the lights down, get some candles going, get maybe a creepy soundtrack in the background.
But you don't want to play role-playing games.
Nope.
You realize you just described. Anyway,
it's all pretty weird.
All right, now we're gonna shift to the ice side of things. I always have a little bit of a hard time with this one because I hate being like super negative on games, but I think it's good to critique things that need to be critiqued.
There's some games out there that either you lose interest in, or they're not good games,
or they're bogus.
I have nothing negative to say about this game, but the ice game for me right now is Legends of Andor. I played it.
Did you know I am a Legend of Andor?
What?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
Anyway.
I get where you were going with that. That wasn't even funny.
I don't get it.
I am Legend. Is that where you were going?
No, not really. I was just saying. Anyway, move on.
Oh man,
here we go. Legends of Andor.
Legends of Andor. It was a game I loved. I had a gaming group that would come over. We'd play it. We'd go through each quest, and we had fun. We would get beat sometimes. I love a game that's co-op, that's challenging, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We got done with the whole base game, and I just felt like it's time to give it a rest. I have the new expansion, the newest expansion, where you're traveling to the seas of the north, I think it's called, something like that. And I'm just not ready to bust it out yet. So it's just kind of on ice right now.
Fair enough. I actually don't have good things to say about the game that's on ice for me. I played a game called O Captain, and it is part of, I believe it's a trilogy of games, and it's the first one in this trilogy. I will say I do have good things to say about the concept and the graphic design. It is gorgeous to look at. The box art, the card art, the components, really beautiful to look at. And the story is is a huge part of this thing too. So I haven't read the book, but there's actually a book in it that is like the first part of this story. And basically the game takes place, you are shipwrecked pirates, explorers that are looking for some great treasure. And fortunately, there's a Numa monster that saves you and takes you to his cave. And so the whole game is bluffing. One player is the captain, the other players are the other explorers, and you draw a card as an explorer and you say, "Hey captain, I found this," and you're trying to like lie and say it's something different that it isn't, so that he'll leave it for you. But the mechanics of it just don't work. Like the whole turn is like you can either declare your loyalty or commit mutiny. And if you're loyal, you give the captain some of your money. And the only way you can declare mutiny is if you have more money than the captain. Well, if the captain just takes your money for the beginning turns, you will never find a way to get more money to be able to declare mutiny. So he'll just always be the captain. I don't know.
So like, did you check and double check rules? Did you guys miss anything?
Yeah, no. I mean, I read through the rule book like 5 times. I'm like, this is exactly how it's supposed to work.
No forums said different.
And I haven't looked on the Geek to see if there's any kind of revisions to it or whatnot, but I just couldn't believe that it was that broken. And hopefully there is something that I missed. You know, maybe in a 3-player game, you're supposed to do something different, but it was just... I literally, Xavier, my oldest, we got done playing. He's like, that game stinks. And he has never said that about a game ever. So I wanted to really like that game, but it has some pretty big flaws. And I feel really bad saying that because the folks were really nice who sent it out to us and everything. But
I hope you missed something.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I do too. So stay tuned. I'll definitely rescind all those comments if there was something I missed, but there's not a lot to the game to miss. So, yeah. All right, Sepos, please give us your ice games, sir.
It's really hard for me. I'm sitting here looking at my game collection right now too, thinking, is there anything better? Is there anything better? Is there anything better? Because I love this game so much, but I'm just kind of disinterested in it right now. So I'm having a game night with some friends on Saturday night, and this would be a game that they would definitely want us to bring and have fun with. The problem is though, I don't want to play it, and it's Crokinole. I love Crokinole, but I don't know if I played it too much, or I feel like I don't really have anything more to do with it right now as far as like strategy or technique or whatever, but Crokinole is on ice right now. I will take it out of the freezer and warm it back up and enjoy the deliciousness of its leftovers, but it's on ice right now.
It's never on ice.
It's a classic. It's a great game.
I'll sit down and play. I was over at your house the other night. We were playing with Peter. I was like, all right, I got winter, but I'm not looking to like bring it out. All right. You know?
Fair enough. I've come out with some pretty crazy games on the ice segment before that people have questioned. So you can say that. That's fine. It's time for Fill in the Blank. Now, usually we sing a happy little jingle that has really no words or anything. We just kind of make up a fill in the blank jingle on the spot every time we do this. So, fill in the blank. It's time to fill in the blank. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Fill it in hard.
Maybe not.
All right.
So fill in the blank. We have a couple statements.
It's gonna be a hard one to edit.
Ahead of you.
I hate you guys so much. All right, so fill in the blank is a segment where we read a couple theoretical, hypothetical statements, and we fill in the blank to let you know what our answers are. And it's also great when the listeners write us and fill in the blank as well, so we can have a little conversation with you guys too. So, shall we roll for initiative? Hey Siri, roll a d20.
Siri, roll a d20.
Hey Siri, roll a d20.
Oh my gosh, I rolled a 4.
18.
I rolled a 5. AJ rolled a 5. Here we
I
go
rolled
again.
an 18.
No, my phone rolled a 5, my watch rolled a 4. I was talking to my watch, so I'm going with my
go
stupid
second.
4. So you got an 18?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your phone likes you a lot better than mine. Okay,
I
so
talked to it.
AJ, you're up first. The game I would save from a house fire is...
Oh, Kingdom Builder, definitely. Kingdom Builder is probably my all-time favorite strategy game. I love how simple the mechanic is. You draw a terrain card, you place 3 settlements, and you just have to follow the placement rules. But you're trying to place them based upon 3 scoring cards that change every time. The boards are modular, they change every time. The scoring cards change every time. The tokens that enhance your gameplay change every time. It's the simplest game with the most strategy and replayability. I love Kingdom Builder. All-time favorite. I would have to save it.
It's a classic. It's a good one for sure. Did you roll? What did you rolled higher than me?
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, you had to have, because I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 5. So my game that I would save, and I might have thought about this different. So I do love this game. It's a great game. I always have fun playing it. It doesn't make it to the table a lot. I like how AJ's looking at my game collection like,
What is it?
It's X-Wing from a sheer monetary value standpoint. You know, I have insurance and stuff too, but I probably have, I don't know, a couple $100 worth of X-Wing over there. But I do love it. And I like, you know, X-Wing miniatures, Fantasy Flight, great miniatures game.
Really
great,
well done.
Yeah, super well done. Great painted miniatures out of the box. Great movement, great just kind of like dogfighting on the table. You're making movements and dial choices simultaneously together and just completing moves. It's so awesome. I do love it, but a big reason would be for that monetary value side of things.
If that's the case, well,
and I'm like, I am a little bit of a collector of things. When I was a kid, I had tons of micro machines. Star Wars micro machines, Star Trek micro machines, Army micro machines. And I feel like part of the Star Wars miniatures thing for me is a nostalgic. It reminds me of all of that too. So it's definitely like goes back to my childhood.
Definitely. Yeah, I always say if Pirates of the Spanish Main had the movement system that X-Wing does, it would still be in print today. But that's my humble opinion. But it's a great game, and those ships are pretty pricey. So my game, and I have a little more of a first-person view of this scenario, which is kind of why I threw it in there. I would say probably, and especially in particular, my box full of Carcassonne. I have the cool broken token insert, which also is holding like 4 or 5 different expansions. It's an older Rio Grande game, copy of the game. And there's some promo tiles that I threw into it. There's just a ton in there. It's a game that my wife and I love to play one-on-one. Our family loves to play it together. It's just a classic. We play it all the time. And it's definitely the one that I would have probably gone for if I was home when my house was on fire. But I wasn't. Blank is a game you would let burn and not think twice.
Oh yeah.
So if you're looking at your collection going, oh, what do I want? You would go, oh, this one, let me throw it closer to the fire. So AJ,
I've got a couple, but I'm only going to mention one, and I played this game 4 times at least, and I've won every time. And so for a game that I've been winning and want to still throw it in a fire, it has to be bad. And some people, I'm going to get flack for this. I hate the game Unfair. Unfair is a game by Cool Mini or Not, and they do great games. This, I don't believe, is one of them. It's a game where you're building an amusement park.
Hate is such a strong word.
Oh, I hate it. You're building an amusement park, only you're not building an amusement park. You're just playing cards on top of other cards, and then you don't even get to see your beautiful rides. And if I want to build an amusement park, give me at least Steam Park. At least let me see three-dimensional rides. At least let me feel the income of money coming my way, the upkeep of my park. I am literally playing cards in a horizontal line across the table, and I don't even get to see the artwork. Boo. I do not want to see that game ever on my table again.
Strong words, my friend. All right,
very passionate. I don't know that I've ever heard him so passionate about anything,
especially something so hateful.
I know. Man. Let the hate flow through you.
Hate leads to suffering. All right, let's just move on from that. Sepos.
No question. Firefly Clue. I've had it for 3 years. I've never taken the cellophane off. It was a gift. I don't want to say anything bad about the people who gifted it to me because it was very kind of them.
Because they
had no idea.
That stupid game.
They're like, he likes board games. What should I get him? Clue. You know, Clue is not a bad game.
I love Clue.
Clue is not a bad game, but when we're talking about board games, that's like, oh, he loves board games. Let's give him Sorry. I happen, and I know this is like bad. And
do you have this Candyland set? It's freaking amazing.
I know it's bad in our world, but I like Monopoly. I do like Clue. But if I think about the games in my board game collection, I literally haven't taken the saran wrap off of Firefly Clue. So I would use Firefly Clue in a house fire to like try to beat out the
fire. I do have an Alfred Hitchcock Clue set.
That would be cool.
Which is very cool because it's got like some more obscure references.
You should suggest at the next game time. We'll turn it down for 3 years, just like Viticulture.
Yeah, I don't know where it is right now. So for me, it would be Asgard's Chosen. I wanted to like this game. Mayfair sent me this game. I was like, oh, cool. Mayfair sent us a game. That's great. And they sent us Asgard's Chosen. I was like, why does Mayfair hate me?
That's awesome.
You were chosen.
It was.
You were chosen.
You were Asgard's Chosen.
Now, if you have read any reviews on Theology of Games, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, anything, you know I'm always trying to find positive things. I rarely just beat down a game. I had no recourse but to beat down Asgard's Chosen. It was just so clunky, and the artwork was ugly, and the graphic design was poor. It was just... I don't even know why it's actually on my shelf anymore. So that's that one. All right, so let's circle back around and talk a little bit about Origins with this next fill in the blank, our last fill in the blank of the segment. And this one is my biggest regret from Origins 2017 is...
I'm up first again.
You still have initiative, sir.
This was my favorite year ever. I don't have a lot of regrets, so mine's very minor. But it is a regret. I was there, and I was at the Yellow... what do you call it? Their exhibit.
Their booth?
Their booth. Thank you. And they were selling...
That's a tricky word.
It wasn't coming to me quick enough. So
apparently, in prison, it gets tough in there.
Hey, listen.
Tits in the lock.
They were selling their Halloween expansion for King of Tokyo for $5.
And you
That's a steal.
Bought it.
Okay. So I've got $5 left. I have a spending limit at Origins, and that's healthy. It's healthy to do that. So I went over, and I'm at North Star Games, and I pick up my copy of Wits and Wagers, and the salesman says to me, "Hey, do you like trick-taking games?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "How about taking a copy of Clubs for $5? Clubs.
No.
Okay. Big mistake, but in the heat of the moment, I was excited. I just had Wits and Wagers in my hand.
He's giving me a deal.
I thought he was breaking me a deal. It was a steal though, and he was stealing my money. And
he hates you like Mayfair Games hates me.
I could have got the King of Tokyo Halloween expansion and chose a game called Clubs instead.
I didn't even see it there. I would have totally bought that if I knew it was there.
Clubs and Asgard's chosen.
So I was pretty bummed out about that.
All right, Sepos, what do you got?
This still plagues me, and I could go on Amazon and just buy it right now, and no problem. But my biggest regret from Origins 2017 is going to Blue Orange's booth, demoing King Domino, thinking, yeah, this is pretty good, leaving, going back, demoing it again, and saying, I gotta buy this game, leaving, coming back, and they're like, we don't have any left for today. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's the last day that we were there.
Yep.
So I totally missed out on coming back with the game, and I think that's why I haven't bought it yet.
You missed out on the Spiel des Jahres.
I know. Well, it's still 2017, so I've got some time, but I think that's part of the regret is I could have come home with it, taken it out of the wrapping with all of my other games from Origins, and know that I have it. Now I'm just going to wait for a brown A10 box to come from Amazon.
If you buy it at our friendly local game store, Underhills, you can still get the promo castle.
Ooh, the promo castle.
They got sent to them. They have a giant King Domino that you can demo. It's like twice the size of the game. It's cool.
How much is that?
Cool.
I don't think you can buy it.
They're
I think
probably not selling it.
Just to retailers.
Although every man has his price.
That's true. That's true.
So I guess for me, my biggest regret was we never made it back all the way to Ares Games.
I knew you were going there.
Which they're...
What were we going to play there? War of the Ring?
Hunt for the Ring.
Hunt for the Ring.
War of the Ring's been out only for 20 years now.
The asymmetrical hidden movement. It's such a great idea for a game, and the theme works so well. At least I hope it does. We didn't get to play it, but I would have liked to go back and play that. Otherwise, I had a great time at Origins and have very, very few regrets. All right, so that's fill in the blank. We're rounding the corner. We're almost done with this episode, but before we're done, it's time for the lightning round. Gentlemen.
The thunder round?
Roll for initiative. Hey Siri, roll a d20.
Hey Siri, roll a d20.
You gotta be kidding me.
Freaking 2.
I got a 3.
Freaking 2
again.
AJ
Can we reroll?
18.
Can I call mulligan on that?
No.
2?
You don't have any action tokens.
My serious superior.
All right, so AJ, lightning round. We're always bad at lightning rounds. It's supposed to be like, hey, it's a super fast answer, but don't worry if it's not, because we're terrible at it.
I'll try it.
All right, lightning round. Favorite kids movie. So a movie that is geared for 10 and under, 12 and under, I don't know, somewhere in there.
Love the movie How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Classic. Oh, I'm next.
Yeah, lightning. Come on.
My favorite?
This is the slowest streak of lightning I've ever seen.
Lightning rounds are not our forte. Oh, I had one that I was going to use. There's a lot of Pixar films that I like because there's a good level of humor that, adults get, and but it's still fun for kids and everything. It's probably, I don't know, the Toy Story series in general, but the third one was great. So I'd probably go with one of those. All right, Sepos, what's yours?
Schindler's List. I had a really tough upbringing. Next.
Mommy, I don't want to watch this one again. Sit down and learn your history.
Honestly, though, I would say Aladdin. I love Aladdin. I still love Aladdin. It was probably my favorite Disney movie as a kid. So good.
Classic.
R.I.P.
All right, lightning round. Ron Howard directing Star Wars?
Chewbacca, we have a problem.
Yay! No, I'm on board.
You're
That's
on board
fine.
with it?
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with it, especially because they want somebody who is got an eye for humor in it, and it'll be interesting to just see how he does with the science fiction and the special effects and how heavy it is in effects. But I think as a director directing actors to get great emotion and humor and all that stuff out of them, he's a fine choice. I think I think it'll be great.
I think he's a great storyteller. You know, you look at a lot of the movies that he's done, whether it's something historical, whether it's something pure fiction, he can tell a story really, really well. And that's what Star Wars is always aiming to do, you know? With it being the Han Solo origin movie, we've got a big story to tell.
Absolutely.
And he's not writing the screenplay, he's just directing it.
Correct. Yeah. And that's the thing that'll be interesting too, is because they've already been shooting the film.
Well, they canned their last two directors.
And there are two directors
combo
that
directors,
were co-directing it. And so they fired them like mid-shoot, and he's kind of coming in and taking over and going from there. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. I'm excited for the film either way. All right, lightning round. What are you watching on Netflix currently?
Sadly, I'm watching a series called Arrow on CW, and it's just as hokey as any CW show that you've ever seen before. And it definitely doesn't do justice to the Green Arrow, but
which it's supposed to.
It's supposed to. And I will say this. My wife is the one who's truly watching it. I just happen to be in the room many times and catch a majority of it. And it's just mildly entertaining enough to capture you and just so cheesy all at the same time.
So with our living situation and everything, I haven't been able to watch a lot of Netflix recently. But just yesterday, I started watching from season 1, episode 1 of The Office once again. I needed something funny and familiar, and if I tune out and work on something while it's on, it's not like I'm missing major plot points. It's just so funny and so stupid that it's just what I needed right now in terms of light entertainment. So I'm diving into The Office once again.
I've been watching, this is going to be kind of heavy.
Oh boy.
Breaking Bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's intense. We both like it though. My girlfriend and I are watching it. We both do enjoy it, but it is pretty heavy at times. But
have you seen it before all the way through, or is this like your first time watching it?
I had watched, I want to say the first or second episodes just by myself years ago. Okay. So this is in essence just the first time through.
You and I watched the first episode together in my basement. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the whole series?
Nope, I didn't need to see any more than the first episode.
Yeah, I watched through it. It's very good. It's really well written. There are episodes that are just flat out hard to watch.
Yeah.
It gets, you think it's intense now, you just wait till you get a few seasons in. It's very hard to watch, but really well written material though. Justice League. Will it be a hit or a flop?
I'm really hoping for a hit. You guys know this. We've gone down this road. Stop. We've gone down this road.
You just say that because you don't like DC, Jeremiah.
I'm a DC fan.
Same.
And I know that you're not. We've gone down this road. DC has made some really awful movies, but so has the Marvel universe. I'm not going to say Marvel movies because we know that there's a lot of different companies that own some of the Marvel characters. So let me get back on topic. I'm really hoping this is going to be a hit. After seeing Wonder Woman, I think that Justice League can survive. Wonder Woman was fantastic, and I hope this one's the same.
So I am woefully behind on my blockbuster movie watching, so I haven't seen Wonder Woman. I hear it's actually good, even from the folks that aren't just DC shills, because they love everything that DC does, even though, like, really, Green Lantern, you're going to tell me that's a good movie?
Nobody ever said that. Not one person ever said that.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me that Green Lantern was really good.
Those aren't people.
I'm like, what? Did you watch the same movie that I did? But
the robots run away fast.
So bad. I'm not yet convinced that DC can pull off that magnitude of a movie. It took Marvel doing several movies in their universe to get everything in place.
That's because they're not as advanced as DC. So yeah, I understand that. Marvel's a little slower.
They're not as advanced as Superman lifting an island and that being the foe that he fought.
They ended that. They
a lot of
moved
people
away
forgot
from
about
that.
You didn't need to bring
They
that
moved
up.
away from that. Do you want to bring up the Silver Surfer movie?
How about Eric
Fantastic
Bana?
Four?
I'm talking about Marvel Comics universe.
What about Edward Norton in the Hulk?
okay.
Let's try that one.
Hey, you can't pick or choose. Yeah, Edward Norton as the Hulk.
Now I'll give DC props. They've made like 2 good movies.
Lightning.
Let's move on. All right, my feelings on...
What are your feelings, DC show?
I'm not a DC shill. I appreciate both. I'll say, to be completely objective, I've just been so out of the comic book movies in general. Like, I didn't see Wonder Woman. I saw the newest Superman movies because I like Superman. So I guess I have high hopes. Like, I would like for it to succeed. I could see myself not seeing it in theaters at all, though, because I just want... Hey, I love Star Wars as much as you guys do. Maybe not as much as Jeremiah, but I love Star Wars, and I'm happy that they're doing more Star Wars movies, but I do wish some of the movie houses would maybe create original ideas instead of just remaking comic books.
That's very unlikely nowadays. It just doesn't happen.
There's not enough money in it.
Yeah.
There's not enough money in it.
It's a lot of retread. All right. So last lightning round question. Very last. Here we go. Is there a musical artist that you would pay $500 to see?
I think I would pay $500 to see, if he were still alive, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think he was a fantastic... there's no doubt he's one of the best guitarists of all time that's hit the recording industry anyways. And to hear some of that traditional Texas shuffle, I'd pay $500.
I could see that. What about, is there anybody currently living that you're like, oh, I got to go see this artist?
Nope. Nope, that's music for you today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Somebody asked me that. That's kind of why I put this question in the lightning round. Is somebody asked me that a day or 2 ago, and I was like, no.
I would like to see Led Zeppelin. I don't know if I'd pay $500 to see them.
Yeah,
I would like to see Led Zeppelin. That would be really cool.
I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan's a really good choice, but if there was a way to go back and see the Beatles when they were all 4 still together, and nothing has really revolutionized the world as far as like a musical artist the way that their music did. So just a super huge impact on culture, on music and everything. I would definitely shell out $500 to see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on a similar train of thought, I was going to say Yoko. I just no.
You're out.
You know, I was sitting here thinking, as we talked about this earlier in our prep for the show, the Beatles kept running through my mind. I really like a lot of their earlier stuff more than the later stuff. I'm a big oldies guy. I grew up with the oldies with my parents in the car. a lot. So I would probably say the Beatles if I had to pick. And I think it would be worth $500 for all the reasons that you said.
Yeah, totally. All right, guys. Well, we've done it. We've reached the end of the episode.
Have we?
Oh, well, some of us have. So we're going to wrap this episode up. Want to thank AJ and Josh for joining me this month. And look for another episode coming next month. Hopefully, Scott Firestone will be back on board and rocking and rolling so we can get back to normal as that can be for us here. But in the meantime, you can always find out all things Theology of Games by going to theologyofgames.com. Wow, that's pretty good. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Theology of Games, as well as our Facebook page. I don't think I have anything else to add. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to our fun little adventure through podcast land where we rolled lots of initiative to see who went first?
King Domino!
King Domino!
King Domino! All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining us. We will catch you next time on the Theology of Games podcast.
You've been listening to the Theology of Games podcast with Jeremiah Isley and Scott Firestone. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd appreciate your subscription to the podcast and your review on iTunes. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day, and until next time, get a game on the table.